As we journey through life, the process of aging brings with it a host of changes in our bodies. One of the most significant concerns that accompanies advancing age is the increased risk of cardiovascular diseases, conditions that affect the heart and blood vessels. This heightened vulnerability is neither coincidental nor due to a single cause. Instead, it is the result of a complex interplay of physiological, lifestyle, and environmental factors that accumulate over time. Let's start by exploring what happens inside our bodies as we age. The cardiovascular system, which includes the heart and an intricate network of arteries and veins, is responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. In youth, our arteries are typically flexible, smooth, and resilient, allowing blood to flow effortlessly. However, as the years pass, these vessels gradually lose their elasticity. This phenomenon, known as arterial stiffening, is a natural part of aging. The artery walls become thicker and less flexible, a process influenced by wear and tear, but also by the gradual buildup of substances like cholesterol and calcium, collectively referred to as plaque. This buildup leads to a condition known as atherosclerosis, where arteries become narrowed and blood flow is restricted, significantly increasing the risk of events such as heart attacks and strokes. Another pivotal change is the declining efficiency of the heart itself. The heart is a remarkable muscle that contracts tirelessly throughout our lives, but over time it, too, is subject to the effects of aging. The heart walls may become thicker, and its chambers can become stiffer, which makes it harder for the heart to fill and pump blood effectively. Age-related changes can also affect the heart's electrical system, resulting in arrhythmias, or irregular heartbeats. All these alterations mean that, increasingly with age, the heart has to work harder to perform its essential functions. Beyond structural and functional changes, the cumulative effect of risk factors also plays a critical role. With the passing of years, individuals are more likely to be exposed to unhealthy habits or environments that contribute to cardiovascular disease. Over decades, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoking, physical inactivity, and poor dietary choices all take a toll. Even if such risk factors are not present in youth, their likelihood increases as people get older. High blood pressure, in particular, becomes more common as blood vessels lose their suppleness, making the heart work harder to circulate blood. Diabetes can damage blood vessels and the nerves that control the heart, while high cholesterol accelerates plaque buildup within arteries. It's also essential to consider how aging affects the body's natural repair systems. In younger individuals, the repair mechanisms that maintain blood vessel integrity and prevent the formation of clots function efficiently. As we age, these systems gradually lose their effectiveness, making it easier for minor vessel injuries to escalate into serious problems. Chronic, low-grade inflammation, a hallmark of aging, further accelerates damage to the cardiovascular system. Genetics, too, play a role, but they interact with lifestyle in complex ways. Some people might be more genetically predisposed to heart disease, but healthy living can mitigate some of these inherited risks. Still, genetics underscore the inevitability of some aspects of cardiovascular aging, even in those who lead exceptionally healthy lives. Hormonal changes are another factor. For instance, after menopause, women's risk of heart disease rises significantly, largely due to decreasing estrogen levels. Estrogen is thought to have a protective effect on the heart and blood vessels, so its decline removes this safeguard. Meanwhile, the aging process also brings shifts in body composition. Muscle mass decreases, and fat tends to accumulate, especially in the abdominal area. This visceral fat is metabolically active. It releases substances that can increase blood pressure and contribute to insulin resistance and inflammation, all of which are risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Moreover, aging is associated with a reduction in physical activity for many individuals. Retirement, medical conditions, and decreased mobility can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, which further exacerbates cardiovascular risk. Physical inactivity leads to weight gain, increases blood pressure, reduces cardiovascular fitness, and contributes to unhealthy cholesterol levels. Another aspect to consider is the cumulative exposure to risk. In youth, arteries and the heart are resilient, able to bounce back from temporary spikes in blood pressure or cholesterol. But as decades pass, repeated or chronic exposure compounds the damage. Long-term exposure to unhealthy diets, stress, pollution, or smoking exerts wear and tear on the cardiovascular system, gradually tipping the balance from health to disease. The cumulative effect is also reflected in the diagnosis of risk factors like hypertension or diabetes. The older we get, the greater the likelihood that these conditions will emerge or worsen, adding to the overall cardiovascular risk equation. Let's also not overlook the role of oxidative stress and free radicals, unstable molecules that are naturally produced in the body. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at neutralizing these molecules, which can damage cells, including those in the cardiovascular system. Such damage can contribute to the development and progression of diseases like atherosclerosis. Additionally, the immune system's function changes with age in subtle but important ways. Immune cells called macrophages, which help to remove cholesterol and dead cells from artery walls, become less effective over time. This inefficiency can accelerate plaque accumulation, further narrowing arteries and increasing the risk of blockages or clots. Chronic medical conditions that become more prevalent with age, such as chronic kidney disease or sleep apnea, can also contribute to cardiovascular disease. For example, chronic kidney disease can increase blood pressure and disturb the regulation of minerals like calcium and phosphate, which can harden the arteries. Meanwhile, sleep apnea causes repeated interruptions in breathing during sleep, depriving the heart of oxygen and increasing blood pressure, both of which strain the cardiovascular system. Beyond the physical, psychological factors also affect cardiovascular health. Stress, anxiety, and depression often increase with age, particularly in the face of retirement, bereavement, or declining health. Chronic stress can elevate blood pressure and lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms like overeating, smoking, or drinking alcohol, all of which worsen cardiovascular risk. Medications commonly used for other age-related health problems can also have side effects that negatively impact heart health. Some drugs may cause electrolyte imbalances, increase blood pressure, or even trigger irregular heart rhythms in sensitive individuals. Furthermore, as age advances, there tends to be more focus on treating existing illnesses than on preventive measures. This shift in emphasis may mean that subtle warning signs are overlooked, and silent risk factors, like high blood pressure or early atherosclerosis, go undetected or untreated, further increasing risk. It's also important to recognize that race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status combine with age to affect risk. For example, some populations have higher rates of hypertension or diabetes, which interact with the aging process to hasten the onset of cardiovascular disease. Socioeconomic challenges can limit access to preventive care, healthy food, and safe spaces for exercise. Recognizing all these diverse factors, public health experts emphasize the importance of early prevention and lifelong heart health. While aging itself is inevitable, many of its negative effects on the cardiovascular system can be delayed, mitigated, or managed. The foundation of cardiovascular health rests upon modifiable lifestyle choices. Eating a nutritious, balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats, can help control blood pressure and cholesterol. Staying physically active, aiming for regular exercise appropriate for one's age and abilities, is crucial. Not smoking, moderating alcohol, and maintaining a healthy weight all contribute to a healthier heart and vascular system. Managing chronic conditions, such as diabetes or hypertension, is essential. Routine medical checkups allow for the early detection and management of risk factors before they progress. Taking prescribed medications as directed and discussing potential side effects with healthcare providers ensures that other aspects of health are not neglected. Social connections and psychological well-being also play a role. Engaging with friends, family, or community can buffer stress and reduce the negative impact of social isolation, which is itself linked with heightened cardiovascular risk. Sleep, too, is a pillar of cardiovascular health. As age or medical conditions impact sleep quality or quantity, prioritizing healthy sleep habits and seeking medical advice for persistent problems like insomnia or sleep apnea can protect heart health. Regular monitoring of cardiovascular markers, such as cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar, becomes increasingly important with age. Awareness and timely action allow individuals and healthcare providers to adapt strategies, whether they involve lifestyle modifications, medications, or other interventions, to keep the heart and vessels in optimal health. The journey of aging inevitably brings changes, but it also brings an opportunity, an invitation to invest in our well-being and to cultivate habits that support a vibrant, engaged life. Understanding why age increases the risk of cardiovascular disease empowers us to act. Instead of seeing heart disease as an unavoidable consequence of getting older, we can see it as a challenge that can be met with knowledge, action, and hope. It's also vital to understand that advances in medical science continue to improve our understanding of aging and heart disease. New therapies, cutting-edge diagnostics, and personalized approaches provide more ways than ever to detect problems early and intervene effectively. Research into the biology of aging is unveiling new possibilities for rejuvenating blood vessels, preventing plaque buildup, and harnessing the body's own healing power. In summary, the increasing risk of cardiovascular disease that accompanies aging is the result of a convergence of factors, the mechanical and structural changes to the heart and vessels, the accumulation and interaction of risk factors, the diminished efficiency of repair and immune systems, changes in hormones and body composition, shifts in lifestyle and mental health, and the cumulative effects of a lifetime of exposures. Each factor, individually and collectively, shapes the trajectory of cardiovascular health as the years pass. With this understanding, we gain a powerful tool. Awareness can lead to vigilance, prompt early action, and foster a proactive approach to health. By making wise choices, seeking regular care, and nurturing our hearts, we can meet the challenge of aging with confidence, resilience, and a sense of control over our health and future. Ultimately, the story of aging and cardiovascular disease reminds us of the remarkable complexity and resilience of the human body. It is a story not just of risk, but of opportunity, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and embrace healthy living at every stage, ensuring that the heart remains strong and steady through all the seasons of life.